All right, now welcome to the VC show. I'm VC, your host, and today I'm going to be kind. I bring on a former teammate, one of my favorite guys, a guy that I keep in touch with. I'm always asked about favorite players and people that I keep in touch with, and Alvin Williams is a guy I throw his name around often. Kick your feet up. The VC show starts now.
The VC show, let's go. It's time to turn it out. The VC show, let's go. Let's go. The VC show, let's go. Let's go.
You know, we've had a lot of conversations, but you know, how's TV? How's show business? How the TV side? You know, being on the other side.
I'm having a great time. You know, as a player, you never really thought you would be on this side, but it's a good time, man. It's one of those things that make you feel kind of like you're playing again. The preparation, the nerves, you know what I mean? All of those things. Only thing you're just not, the wins and losses, they don't accumulate.
You stay undefeated.
Yeah, undefeated. So I'm having a great time, man. Thanks to you, you know what I mean, giving me a lot of tidbits, sitting on the phone with me, preparing me. And, you know, when I first got this opportunity, so you were the guy who stayed on the phone with me, man, and told me how to start
Good times, man.
Together.
Yeah, and for you, do you still? I remember like we had the conversation again about your first telecast. Do you still have those same nerves, or it's kind of like business as usual?
It's the same nerves, dog. Like, you know, fly in the day before the game and sit in the hotel room, prepare, and I have I still take my naps before the game, like all those things. Yes. Right in the arena. When I'm in the arena, you get to see some familiar faces, but you do some of your research, ask some questions, but I'm still trying to get myself mentally prepared, so I don't have so many conversations, but I still have the same type of nerves because I'm excited, and it's something fun still for me. So.
Yeah, and I've always, thought, and was told, you're nervous. If you're nervous, that means you love it and you care.
Yeah,
and,
no,
I mean, I know you care. Obviously, you want to deliver the goods and obviously do great work. And obviously, I've heard you because you've gotten texts from me during doing your broadcast, and it's just keep up the good work, man. I'm gonna say that. That's why I wanted to bring you on here. Bucks and Pacers played tonight. Giannis put up 54 in an effort where they lost to the Pacers, 126-124. The surprising thing about this, why I'm bringing it up, because I know some people like, what, Bucks, Pacers, like you kind of said, we're going to talk about that. Yeah, well, the interesting parallel to this is the Pacers are averaging 126 points per game, which is leading the NBA. Your thoughts?
It's crazy. Like, of course, it's early in the season, and we both know, like, the early in the seasons, a lot of times the teams that come in the best condition, they spend time together in the summertime. They used to have that continuity, right? But usually offense is the last thing that comes together for a team. So when you have a team and they're flowing, like it's just one of those things where you like wonder how far that team can go. I think back to last year, and I thought it was a fluke for majority of the season was the Sacramento Kings. And they finished third in the West, right. And they had the best offense in the NBA. So, I think, you see a lot of teams, they mock different styles and philosophies, but if you have the personnel that can do it, like you have a point guard in Halliburton that's delivering, he can score. You got Miles, who's a stretch four, but still can get in there and bang a little bit. Then you have young players as well. So they're doing a really good job of putting points on the board. And then you go against a Milwaukee team who's, they're struggling defensively. So they're going
to. Dame didn't play tonight.
And he didn't play tonight. Right? They've been killing Dame with his defense, but he didn't play tonight. But the Pacers, man, they had 38 points in the first quarter. So yes. This is one of those things where it's just like it's still early in the season, but it's a surprise good because Indiana started off strong in the past before as well. So we'll see if they can sustain.
And I'm gonna add this to it. What was interesting, like Buddy Hield, being moved off to a reserve role and kind of requesting a trade, wanting to get traded. So I didn't know what would happen there. Some guys, when they don't get what they want, will they remain professional? Now, Buddy's been around, one of my former teammates. I mean, I got a lot of former teammates, as you know. Go ahead, get your shot in.
That's a good thing. Shucks.
But one of my former teammates, he could shoot the lights out, but he's bought into it. And you mentioned Halliburton, who's averaging 23 points, 12 assists. Miles Turner, 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 1.8 blocks. So, he's holding down defensively, like you said. I want Ben Mathurin, who's playing well, who had a good year last year. He's averaging 12 points. And then Bruce Brown, they paid him. He paid him some good money, and he deserves it. He earned that, and he's averaging 11 points, 4 rebounds. But here's the thing about what he's doing: 43% from the 3-point line. When you say Bruce Brown, you don't say 43% or 3-point shooter. So yes, he's earned the money, but he's also still putting in the work to be effective. And you mentioned, obviously, well, the East. We talked about averaging 126 with Indiana, but they're also third in the East right now. Yes, it's early. It's early, but you think Phillies 1, Boston 2, Pacers 3, Bucks 4, Hawks 5, Magic are 6 right now. Yes, it's early, but it's just interesting, and just to see how this all plays out, because we think about last year. Pelicans at one point were number 1. Obviously, Zion goes down. In the East, Chicago was getting it done, and then obviously, like you said, Zoe goes down, Lonzo Ball, and there went the Bulls season.
Yeah. But right? Health is a big key. Health is it. Like you can construct a roster, you can have your training camps, you can have your games, but if health and then trades or whatever, that can take the season in a whole different direction. So it's about maintaining like whatever you're doing to get that success. And then when the veteran teams and the quote unquote better teams like start getting to a rhythm, then how do you perform then? And then the structure of a season, like the schedule, like what does that look like? So the strength of your schedule early on. So it's never a bad thing to jump out early and create that cushion. But when you're young, you always want to continue to get better and better each game.
And I totally agree with that, because if your schedule, if you're a very good team or a subpar team and you have winnable games early and your schedule is brutal in the middle of the season or the end of the season, you better rack up those wins now, because you just don't know. And obviously, you try at come after All-Star break, you're trying to play position basketball, get as many wins to position yourself for either the highest seed or, let's be truthful, to avoid some teams to not see them in the first round as well. So
let me ask you, because you had, I know this is your interview, but you're a veteran player, superstar. You've been in every role, the superstar role. You've been a consummate role player. You've been everything as a superstar. And I know, with the Nets it was different. You guys were better. Did you come into the season like guns blazing, or were you trying to pace yourself? Like how you got to carry your team throughout the season and then postseason. So how did you come in with a team as the superstar?
I'm gonna give you both. I'm gonna talk about both sides of that. So as a superstar player, and you have a team that's very good or that has the potential to really compete, you want to hit the ground running, because rack up as many wins, because you never know. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was just like, I want to come out here and get off to a good start, because like who was it? Was it Boston? Who had the players only meeting? I'm drawing a blank. Who had the players
Chicago
after the first game? Chicago. Yeah, after one game. You could be in a situation like that to where you're a good team and you have a slow start, and then everybody starts to become individuals instead of a team. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's important just to establish, and you're not going to win them all. I get it, but it's how you feel after you see yourselves play. Like, bro, we gonna be all right. Yeah, we let this one go, but like everybody's on board. So I felt like if I came out ready to play, put my best foot forward, don't ease into the season, good things can happen, because I'm setting the tone.
Right.
Now, on the other end, when you're a team that is young and you're not sure, training camp is important. You know what I'm saying? To setting the tone, and we need to take. So if we're considered a bad team, we just got to play hard and hoping teams look down on us and like, nah, this is just whatever. Particularly the city, like this, they worried about the city more so than anything. So it's just a preparation and approach. I just feel like nowadays, man, there's so much parity. There's so much more parity in the NBA now, to where you can't have a slow start. You can't start like you can get so far behind where you can't catch up because of lack of experience.
Right.
More so than anything. You can have all the talent, but if they don't have experience,
right.
What's that gonna do for you? You know?
Right. You mentioned parity, and it's funny because these teams, they are so like it's just competing and it's equal and they're right there neck and neck. But I look at the style of play, the philosophy, the practice or lack thereof practice. A lot of teams are following the same mold. So I wonder it's not a coincidence that a lot of the teams, unless you just have the talent, whatever, but these teams are neck and neck, and you just never know. You look at a Miami Heat who finishes 8th last year and go all the way to the finals. They weren't in the play-in, and they go to the finals.
Right.
It's just amazing. Like, teams are so – it's a copycat league, so we know everything. People follow the molds. So I just wonder if that's something that's the reason why the parity is there as well, because the talent level.
Also, Miami had a lot of injuries, so I felt like they're the exception to that rule, only for the fact of they were injured and they got healthy in enough time. Obviously, their record was falling, but they had the talent, and we got to see how talented they really are. But yeah, I think there's so much parity, and you like I said, you just can't ease into the season now. Young teams they just they have to figure it out. It's just kind of what it is. I always say this and it's not being disrespectful to the young talent, but it's like you have young guys with so much talent, but it's still the blind leading the blind because the younger talent's coming in who we had vets to look up to.
Yep.
Like a locker room full of vets. It's not the case all the time. I was in locker rooms where I was probably it was either just me or another vet. It was two. So like that locker room has flipped.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To where I was like, it was only, 2, 3 young guys and everybody else were vets. It's total opposite. So you come in there, it's a lot of work for a vet to be like, to handle everyone and kind of, because everybody, handles it and goes through different phases and needs different attention to their situation. So
you got the young
that's
get
crazy.
Out there, old head. Get out of there, old head. We're not trying to hear that.
That is a fact, though. I can't.
You remember Kevin Willis?
Oh man,
with Mac. Kevin Willis told you and T Mac, yeah, I played with the human highlight film. I done seen MF's dunk before. Don't treat me like I got a bonnet and a bottle in my mouth.
He did. He did, and as I became the vet, I used to see obviously Kevin in Atlanta. I had to apologize because that was me now. So I was like, yo, bro, my bad. He said, yeah. He got the hand,
But we did have the best vets, man. We had the best. I was Bugsy today. We had the best vets.
Some of the best vets, and just they and what Kev said, we had. He played with the human highlight film. We had Doug who played with Magic. We had D who played with Bird. We had Antonio who played with Reggie. We had Oak who played with MJ. So anything we needed or they've seen it all. You know what I'm saying? Like we're talking about legends of the game, and they had these up close and personal experiences that helped me. And I think helped the team because I mean, Oaks, so when coach will say something, he just blurt out, nah, man, when we had such and such, when this team, and we listen. So it's just, I think we had an unbelievable advantage to the approach and how to be pros and win in the league as opposed to now. Like, you just gotta, coaches have to be very strategic and they have to, they got to think hard to kind of get teams to buy in. It wasn't the case, back in the day. So I wanted to ask you. Go ahead.
Too deep in it. My bad, not good. But that society is right. Like the way we were raised is different than the way these young fellas are raised today. Like we were raised different, right? And I think that transferred into that locker room, and then how we interacted with the older guys, the veteran guys, and what I mean. It was a pecking order. It was accountability. Yes. It was a level of respect there that it was unwavering. So,
and it was all understood. We understood. We understood how it worked. Like we understood how the system worked, whether we liked it or not. You know what I'm saying? And we bought into it, and we were okay. You know what I'm saying? We made it work. So that is the difference. And we always hear like the veterans and young guys kind of talk about how we vets talk about young guys and vice versa. But it is different. And we as the veterans have to understand that. But at the same time, young guys have to understand we believe in what we believe in because we've seen it and it worked. It worked for us. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a give and take on both sides of that, if you would.
Yep, sure.
I wanted to ask you, I know you're calling games with the Raptors. What are your thoughts on the Raptors this year so far? Needs, what would you like to see? So and so. Scotty Barnes, how's he looked? So and so forth.
Man, I like what I see from the Raptors. I got an opportunity to sit there in Vancouver and watch training camp and the new coach, Darko Rajakovic, he and his staff, man, he does a really good job. And so his thing, you hear a lot of the offense, 0.5 offense, it's a read and react offense, but it's implementing, ball movement, unselfishness, and it's timing. And I think that just, at the end of the day, if you leave that philosophy, that unselfishness won't go anywhere. You can implement any type of offense, but once you have players playing for one another, I think that's what he's really doing. He's doing a good job of teaching, offensively and defensively. He's talking to the players. He's communicating with the players. So his approach is really good, and you see it through the play because the players, they're not really going up and down. They continue to get better. They get better. It could be in small increments or whatever, but they're getting better, doing a good job sharing the ball. They came back, had a heck of a win against San Antonio Spurs with Wemby playing, who's a phenomenal player. And then they went to Dallas and beat Dallas. And that was probably the best game of the year. And Pascal Siakam, who hasn't been scoring, but he's been assisting. He's been growing into the new role that he's in. And it's just pretty much not one player scoring, it's a bunch of players. And Scotty Barnes is really fitting his style because he's a dude that you don't have to call a play for. He get it off the glass. He's a facilitator at heart, but he's now being more aggressive scoring-wise in his third year. So he's getting that feel. And I just want them to, continue to doing what they're doing. But they're doing a really good job. And guys are getting better. They are truly getting better.
Well, I'm gonna throw out some numbers for everybody. Raptors, we didn't mention them in the top 6, but they're 4-4, 10th in the East currently. But obviously they're getting better. Scotty Barnes averaging 21.5 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists right now. I mean, those are great numbers for a guy in his third year, now ready to take over the reins as probably their best player and the guy they rely on. And I mean, obviously, Pascal is still their guy, but this is, it's another guy. You need a 1-2 punch, and I think he's on his way. OG also averaging 17.5 and 4 rebounds. What?
My bad.
I thought you were to say something crazy.
No. It's you know what? It reminds me of Pascal early on, and it's not as drastic as this, but I was thinking of it. Pascal, new coach came in, and they're implementing a new style, and they're going away pretty from what he was really doing well at.
Right.
It reminds me so much of, I think it was your last year with the Raptors when Sam Mitchell came in there and we got new management and they start transitioning a bit. And you were like, we all were like, hold on, what's going on? Like, this is Vince show. And it was going in a different direction. And you had some challenge with that. And I think that might have been the year you got traded. But I was like, I don't have a relationship with Pascal and those guys like that. But it was like one of the times where if I could grab him, be like, yo, man, like this, it's not happening. You're not the only person this has happened to. This has happened to people like great players as well in the same organization. But I think right now it's not to that degree because, of course, he wasn't the player that you were at that time holding them in a franchise. But he is a great player that he has to adjust to. Correct. And I'm hoping that they found a balance because if the Raptors really want to be good, they're going to need him playing at that level. They're going to need him getting his 25 points, his rebounds, and like all those things as well. So, but they're doing a good job.
Yeah, and he's at 17, almost 17.5 and 7 rebounds. Schroeder also 17 points, 8 assists, and 8 assists. Yeah. So I just think they're slowly buying into what coach is selling. So that's good to hear. So you think they have a legit chance of making some noise in the East then?
I don't know. Once again, it's so early, but the way they're improving, and you mentioned Dennis Schroeder, like the way he's controlling the show and not turning the ball over, taking over, scoring at times, and Scotty, Pascal, OG Anunoby, dog, like he's guarding Wemby. Then the next day he's guarding Luka. Like he's that guy that can score his points.
Swiss Army knife. Mm-hmm.
Everything, man. And I don't think he gets enough credit because you need a player like that. And now his 3-point shot is good. We talk about Bruce Brown, his 3-point shooting. OG's 3-point shooting is steadily increasing, but that defensive part, he can post up
right now.
Yeah, man. So he figured out against Wemby. He tried to do his little post up stuff. Wemby blocked it, put it on the glass without jumping. After that, my man hit 7 threes, career high. He said, "I'm not going back." But he said 7 threes. So, the team is really, they're doing a good job, man. Like all across the board, coaching staff. I mean, they're doing a good job. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they progress because Pascal's a free agent after this. OG is, and Gary Trent Jr., who had a big game coming off the bench as well. So they got some things, they got some decisions to make, but right now things are looking on the up and up.
Real quick, I want to give a quick shout out to Andre Iguodala.
Yes, sir.
If you guys have seen the news, he's now acting executive director for the NBAPA. Shout out to Iggy, just retired. Announced his retirement not too long ago, and now I think this is a perfect role for him. He's well vested. He's a vet. He understands it. He has a voice. He has a great opinion. Not afraid to speak up on behalf of players. What's your thoughts on that?
I got a chance. Him being here in Philly, his rookie year. One of my young bucks, Mustafa Shakur, who played with him in Arizona. So I would hear a lot about him. Never really had a great relationship with him, but I admired him from afar as he continued to grow as a player. I loved him as a player, but then you start hearing more about things that he does off the court. I hear him speak his books and things like that. So I think he's a perfect example. And I love the fact that there's a former player in one of those decision-making roles. Because there's no one better than someone like that who's qualified, who has an understanding, who has a relationship. So hopefully, I know it's an interim role right now, but hopefully it's something to take advantage of.
And Al, the other thing that's going to always resonate amongst players, and especially young players, and you know this from working with teams, and I've heard you actually say something close to this, is that he's proven.
Yeah.
Like what he's saying, like you got to listen to that. This man has championships, not one. He had 4.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So he his voice and what he's gonna say, what he's experienced, what he knows, what he can say to pull players aside. Hey man, that ain't the way. Yeah. And he has experiences from playing with Steph Curry on back to Allen Iverson. Yeah. So like he's played with the best that ever shoot it or to ever dribble it. You know what I'm saying? To ever put a ball in the basket at 5'10", 5'11". You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him, man.
And he's credible. He's credible in the sports world, credible in the business world. And it comes down to relationships. When you walk in those rooms, they are going to listen to him. And you're going to have the support. You're going to have the resources. He knows when to take a step back. He knows when to listen. He knows when to lead. So I feel like, not knowing Iggy that well, but it's always love and respect. But I feel like it's not a better person that can fit that job.
I mean, here's another person. I'm going to say this with confidence that is going to protect us, meaning protect the players. I mean, he's on obviously the PA side, so that's what he's there for. But like genuinely protect the players because I mean, he's been through it and he understands like what it takes. And it's no knock to anyone else. It's just that's just the reality. You know what I'm saying? So,
not for sure.
I love it. All right, we're talking about the East. Let's talk big picture. Who are you liking in the East? Being that you've called some games, had the opportunity to see a lot of teams. We're going to start with the East first. Who are you liking in the East? Again, Philly, Boston, Indiana Bucks, Hawks, Magic are the top 6 right now. But what has caught your eye, or teams that are on the rise?
Of course, you can go with, the Celtics, right? The Celtics and, what they've done, bringing Drew Holiday in and Porzingis, and that just made their team. It's just that starting five is dangerous, right? And it's very versatile. You can put different lineups in. Then you have guys.
It's just their bench, Al. Like, it's their bench, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to cut before you get too.
Well, you did cut me off, so you meant to
I know.
do it.
No, I didn't mean to, but like you were about to go on about this, that, and the fourth. But like, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this, bro. Like, what? Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this. I just feel like their bench is extremely important. Having depth, and I feel like what are you? I'm gonna ask you this: what are your thoughts on Porzingis playing the 5?
I like it. I mean, I like it, especially when you can bring an Al Horford in off the bench, and you can go small and bring a Tatum and have him at the 4. And just today's NBA is just one of those type of things where, like, you can really be versatile and not pay for it, because there's they're not going to take advantage of size advantage. People really don't seek out mismatches.
But I just think about the West. I'm sorry. I think about the East when, you've run into a Philly, or let's say even a Milwaukee, and I'm thinking more Giannis than Brook Lopez. Like the physicality. Yes, you can change your lineup up, but like there it is. Do you want to? I mean, you do whatever you have to do to win.
I saw Drew Holiday guarding Joel Embiid yesterday, and Porzingis guarding Tobias Harris. So it's so tricky with everything. Like, it's so tricky, and I do, like, a lot of people get caught up with.
That's one game though.
Yeah, no,
7-game series.
No, for sure.
And that's what when I ask these questions, I'm thinking about 7-game series. Like, yeah, I mean, but that's something you have in your bag now. You know that Drew Holiday can maybe guard him for half a quarter, maybe a half.
Be able to, Vince.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. That is a fact.
But that's the thing. Like you said, a 7-game series. Like, hold up, like that we ain't going. But I do believe it's a lot of state people get put in the depth. But I feel like, it's opposed to having a second unit or whatever, you just work on your rotations and how you mix and match. You know what I mean? Whether it's Brown in the game at certain points or your lineups, how do you mix and match some of those lineups that negate the lack of depth, right?
Here's my pushback. Go ahead, finish. I'm going to give you my pushback to that.
No, that's it.
My pushback is, okay, what if you're getting into these situations where either foul trouble players go down and that coach look down that bench and he doesn't have the confidence to play players? I just feel like in the beginning of the season, you have to utilize what you have, to see what you have, to know that in a big game situation, you have the confidence of playing a guy. Either, like a guy goes down and can't play. Now you don't know what to do. So that's just my pushback to,
No, I get you. I'm with you. And the reason why with Boston, I still feel like although Drew Holiday, I think, brings some calmness. I love Tatum. I love Brown, but it's still you go, I go, you go, I go. And opposed to having that player or two players that you can play through. And when I say play through, not just give a ball to score, run action through. Like kind of like what they do with Jokic, right? Jokic. Like it's like you can run, you can curl, you can dribble handoff and just make the defense rotate or however. And I think the Sixers can grow into that with Embiid. You can play through Embiid, right? He's out top. He can do things. He can swing the ball. He can dribble handoff. You can clear ice on him. So the Sixers are very impressive to me, dog. Like with Tyrese Maxey and what he's doing. I like him.
God, man.
Like that team's playing with so much pace. And now with Marcus Morris and those guys coming over, man, Batum and I love Kelly Oubre. Now you talk about depth. The Sixers have depth. And they got that 2-man game. And Tobias Harris, man.
What are your thoughts on the Bucks?
The Bucks is going to be good. I mean, anytime you got a Giannis and a Dame Lillard, I think one of the biggest keys are Middleton coming back healthy. I know they're easing them in there. If Middleton can get back to form, and he will, he reminds me of that situation with, the Golden State had Klay Thompson, and he wasn't fully there yet. I think Middleton, if he can get healthy and get back to that guy that's scoring that basketball, and you still got Brook Lopez anchoring the defense, they just got to get that defense together. And I'm not putting it all on Dame Lillard. It's not one player. It's a system. It's a collective effort. So defensively, they gotta get it together. They can't just
particularly when they have good on ball defenders over there. They have some pretty good on ball defenders over there. They can
No,
use.
for sure.
And I yes, even Pat Connaughton is a guy who can guard. I think. Like I agree with you what you said about Middleton, because I watched them the first game when they all played together, and I wanted to see what the floor looked like. And it like the driving lane, it was just wide open because you on the weak side either guarding Dame Lillard or Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
And you know how they say shift your defense over, and you like, I hear you, but it's a sniper over here. You know what I'm saying? And he's not just like a regular dude, if you would. Like he's him and he's him. Like so I feel like with Brook Lopez somewhere over there also. I'm talking about if this is a Middleton Giannis pick and roll or a Dame Giannis pick and roll, well then you got Lopez and Middleton on the other side, or Lopez or Bobby Portis who's shooting the three now, who getting it done. Like so they have, or we just talked about it, Connaughton or Jay Crowder. So they have the pieces. I just like that was kind of my concern defensively. I just felt like Drew Holiday set the tone for their defense, and then if it broke down, Brook Lopez was kind of the cleanup guy.
Yeah.
And I feel like after a while, you just lift Brook out there, make him have to come help late, make Giannis have to come help late, and they're just giving up layups. So, I agree, that is a concern.
And they still got some growing to do too. New coaching staff. You know what I mean? Adrian Griffin, who's a great coach. He's a defensive guy, a tough guy. You know what I mean? So they're gonna get it straight. They're definitely gonna get it straight.
What are your thoughts on the West? I'll give you the top 8. Nuggets 1, Mavs 2, Timberwolves 3, Warriors are 4, Thunder are 5, Rockets 6, Phoenix 7, Pelicans 8.
Hey, dog, I'm gonna tell you something for real. Like
Thunder,
you got a great show, man. Tucker is holding you down because you ain't know all that. My man Tucker put you on to the standings and all that. He's making you look good, man. Making you
Thank
look
you.
real
Shout out to Tucker. Absolutely. But guess what? You've always known this.
You had the Charlotte Bobcats at 3 in the West. You ain't even know they weren't even in the league no more. you didn't know Bob Johnson sold the team.
Yo, I was like, what do you say? Man said the Bobcats. Hey, man, come on, man. Whenever I don't know, I ask because I want to make sure I know my stuff. I raise my hand if you're unsure.
No, for sure. The West is a monster, dog. And you was talking about OKC, and with their 5th, you said? Their 5th?
Yes.
And they're
Rockets 6.
Rockets, unbelievable, with the new coach over there, Ime Udoka, and the man Fred Van
They
Vliet.
call him Ime, but I know you meant, though.
Yeah,
I know you meant, though.
Ime Udoka. Yeah, he's a heck of a coach. And I love what they're doing, but OKC, man, like for them to jump the way they've jumped, because a lot of people weren't giving them that credit. They just thinking they stockpiling draft picks and all of those things. But with SGA and Chet, Williams, Dort, like those guys, man, they are playing their butts off, man.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like they play hard and it's unselfish. I mean, they understand who their guy is, but they understand who Chet is, who he can be. And he's not playing outside of himself. None of them are. Yeah. They're just playing ball, and and I love an SGA guy like who has that kind of game, but like he's an unselfish superstar.
Yeah,
he's he like, man, I'm just trying to get whatever I need to do, and he understands when he needs to take over, when he needs to kind of give the ball and into when Lou Dort is rolling or when Chet is rolling, like he's giving these guys an opportunity, and they understand if we do our job the first 3 quarters, that guy SGA, first team All NBA, gonna close it out for us.
Let me ask you this, Vince, because it's 2 guys, SGA on the West, and then you talk about Halliburton, right? And I think both of they although they had great years last year, Halliburton ended up hurt, but he was averaging a double-double, but he's balling. They both played on their national teams. They played with USA and they played and SGA played with Canada, play with great players. You got a chance to play in the Olympics, and being a teammate of yours after the Olympic experience, your game just took off being around greatness. Do you think like this summer, both of those guys, like those experiences really helped those guys' games take off?
What's crazy is like they were all prior to this, they were already balling. Like SGA was already proven he's one of the best. So I think it's amazing saying this, but I think the game is now slowing down for them even more because they're getting, like I said, every day they got to see greatness and they got to play against that. So now you're not playing against that type of talent in practice, and I'm talking about practice. And,
right.
well, I mean, get competition too. Like, no, I'm not disrespecting anybody, but I'm just saying, like every day you were playing against some of the best. Now, and that wasn't even playing against the elite, like the Stephs and whatever, and
right.
the you know what I'm saying, all of those guys as well, Bookers and KD. So you could just tell, like you said, you could just see the approach and the swag and how they play the game. It's not like they look like they rushing. They're just like, no, wait, hold on, slow down.
Yeah.
It's just that's it. Yeah, I mean, when you get those opportunities, you play different. You think different. Like you poke your chest out a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see that.
You get a chance to lead, right? You see what leading look like leadership, how to lead a group. Because I remember talking to DeMar when he was with Toronto at the time. He was playing with the USA select team, playing against Kobe, Dwayne Wade, all those guys. He was like, "Yo, man, like
you see it differently."
Some dudes, and he just like that next season, man, it just took off. Like he really like his career never looked back.
And the crazy thing about it, Al, is that we talk about Halliburton and with who he played with, but that team, Canada team, all those pros over there.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Yeah.
Like just like they're getting like real like experience. So it's pretty cool. Like Team Canada is going to be a problem.
Yeah,
they're going to be a problem.
And there's some players that still didn't play for them, man. They still Jamal Murray didn't play.
Right.
Ray Lawson didn't play. You got a lot of young fellas that Andrew Wiggins didn't play. Like they got a lot of guys, man.
Man. And it's like it's not like 2, 3, and that's the cool thing about even the Olympics. Like, they're saying, "Oh man, we don't do it. We don't do it like back in 92, 96, and 2000." I mean, we were just it was close. Like you could start seeing the changing of the guard as far as other talent around the league. I mean, from all of the talent that played in the league are now going to the national team. It's next level now. Yeah. So it's just like you're not playing against a team that had 1 or 2 pros who are used to, who not in awe of you now. They they play against you. Yeah. They got like 3 or 4 guys on their team like yeah, bro, he like to do this. He this would tick him off or whatever. As opposed to back in the day, like they were like, "Oh man, you know what this is?
Yeah.
You want to score? Go ahead."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't like that anymore. So I think, man, they're gonna be a problem.
Nah, for sure.
They're gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
Also, man, what are your thoughts? Let's talk about this thing. T-Wolves 3, Phoenix in 7 right now. But I mean, obviously, no Bradley Beal. I still think it is early, but I just feel like Devin Booker's starting to kind of take form. KD is still being KD. It's just there again. I mean, it's like I said, they're in 7th. It's not like they're in 10th place, 11th place, where they're going to have a climb. But on the other foot, the Timberwolves. Did you expect? I don't think people really were. You didn't hear anybody this summer talking about, "Oh, look out for the Timberwolves." You might have talked about, "Look out for Anthony Edwards." You know what I'm saying? Like he's up.
Yeah.
He's here, not like he's up now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and I personally wondered where the dynamic would be with he and Cat, because it was Cat's team for a while. And then it was kind of like a little back and forth riff. And, Anthony Edwards was showing after his rookie year, even during his rookie year. But like that second year, like, nah, bro, this is his team.
Yeah.
And then Cat gets hurt. Now it becomes kind of Anthony Edwards' team, and he's taking it. And I think Cat is kind of like, okay, cool, we can do it together.
Yep.
Yeah, so, and it's just showing some maturity by Cat. And I know, there's been some up and down, him talking about possibly getting traded, but man, look at what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I didn't know. Like, you're looking at it like just preseason. You look at the standings and you look at the potential and the possibilities.
Like,
and you just didn't know. And you look at the early projections, they had like Minnesota like 10th, but it's a tough West. But like you said, Anthony Edwards is that guy. And I think the biggest thing, we didn't get to see them play. We had a small sample size last year because
Right.
Cat was hurt. But he's
Right.
he can stretch the floor. He can post up. Rudy Gobert, he's not trying to look for the ball, but he's going to finish inside if he get putbacks. Defensively, he's the anchor. So I think that team, and he still have other people. He have McDaniels, who's just signed a big contract. When he gets back, he's an elite defender, and he's doing better. And I love you still got Mike Conley. Mike Conley can still score that basketball, but he can lead that team.
He can lead, yes.
Yeah, he can lead the team. So I think everything over there is in place, man. As long as the personalities can match, and I think it will. I think their problem will be ultimately defensively. Like if a team goes small, and what you see the NBA, I don't know what
to take the big fella out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be a challenge. Offensively, they'll be fine. Defensively, I think that's when they really have to find out what's going on. But I think they have the pieces. I think their experiment, when they made the trade for Rudy, I think it's something that can work because their coach, Finch, he was Fitch. Is it Fitch?
Finch, I thought.
Finch. Whatever. He was over in New Orleans with AD and Boogie. Right? So he played with two bigs, right? So he understands how to make that work. It's a different league now, but I think they're in position to do some good things.
And Al, you know how I think it can work is the big fella Gobert's willingness to understand when he needs to take a step back.
Mm-hmm.
I think when the situation is small ball is killing us, we gotta match small ball. Like
right.
If you can't keep up, can't keep up for the good of the team for us to win. We have the pieces, but sometimes it's not going to be your night, your series. And if he can buy into that, they'll be okay.
Are you talking about Gobert or Cat?
Gobert.
Because I think Gobert, you got it regardless of the lineup, he has to be in there. I think the problem's going to be Cat, man. Like guarding.
I'm talking about either. Well, okay, fine. What my point is like. But sometimes, like I'm defensively small ball. I just want to get. I want to play fast, and if they're playing the two bigs, I want to play fast. I want to put Gobert in as many pick and rolls because now the rim is open. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say sometimes, like last year, it felt like. Or it was, I think it was either last year, early was it the playoffs or just in the season where when teams went small, they were just pointing fingers because like you had both of those guys out there and it just wasn't working. So we just got to stay tuned with that. Lastly, in the West, I want to speak on the Mavs, and I'm interested in your thoughts on that. I'll just say, first of all, Luka is playing at an MVP level once again. He has them second in the West right now. I think my concern is, you're not going to be able to outscore everyone. They're going to have to get stops. But I like that kid Lively. I like him and here's why I like him. He's a guy that can create open shots for everyone if Luka is willing to get off the ball for lob. He's a lob threat. Lob threat opened up backside threes. Lob threat open up because Luka has to get off the ball and allow other guys to be. I see you, bro. I see you.
You like Live? No, I don't like him. You know why? I was a high school coach past 2 years, and he kicked my butt. Yeah, he's a lob threat against my high school. My 10th graders kept dunking on us all crazy. Yeah, that's why I don't like the punk. Kick my butt at West Town. Yeah. Damn, Derek Lively. No, you're right, man.
Well, other than that,
no, you're right. He went to that other school in North Carolina. Yeah.
Where?
That's why he's so good.
NC State.
But no, you're right. I like Derek Lively.
He's gonna laugh that off. Okay, he went to NC State then. But yeah, the kid, like I feel like if Luka is willing to get off the ball and get guys involved early, like he can score 45 whenever he wants. He can get a triple double in his sleep. But it's postseason that's important. It's making sure those other guys getting involved. And he can do that, but he has to commit to that. I feel like because he has to, in his mind, he has to think these guys are important to our success, not really him. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like
how do you do that, Vince? Like how do you
it's a commitment thing.
Right. So what do you ask him to do? Like what do you ask Luka to do? You know what I mean, that could help the team, you think?
Early in the game, I want him to get guys involved early because at the end of the day, if guys are not getting going early, Luka just can do what he's been doing. Break, all right, cool. Y'all don't have it. Boom. Let me just get going. Let me keep us close.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you pay Luka to be the superstar, but your superstar is what? Your closer. Right. He's the finisher. So for him to be the finisher where he can close games, you need other guys to be playing great basketball because you know this like I do. If you're getting in the fourth quarter, you see a dude, you know Luka not passing the ball to Buddy. Guess what? We clogging the paint. Nah, brother, you got to throw to that guy. He's not throwing it. You know what I'm saying? So you have to kind of play the game to where, oh shoot, I trust. And the only way you build the trust, get that dude the ball, play. Have you develop that rapport early in the game. First half is kind of where you go that. So now you have plays that you can put in your back pocket for the second half that are need plays. Okay, I know I get this double pick and roll when my big man rolls, and then they're not going to guard this dude, but we've kind of hurt them early in the first half. You use that that's kind of because you make a decision. Some teams like, okay, you know what, and you've heard this too. Some coaches say, okay, if we lose tonight, we're gonna lose because Buddy had a career night. Not because of Luka. We've heard exactly. We've heard. I've been on teams where we say we're gonna have to like Draymond because when they had KD and all of them over there, like somebody, we just gonna have to bite the bullet. Yep. And sometimes you win a lot. Sometimes you lose, and that's just kind of has to be. So he has to be willing to do that and trust. Some nights, him being unselfish may not work. Yeah. But it's going to work in the long run, particularly in the playoffs when they try to shorten possessions and they try to take him away. Yeah. And he can be like, bro, you going to do what? Oh, I was averaging 12 assists, but now I'm going to average 16, 17 assists because I'm getting these guys involved. And that's why I think Lively is going to be important because now he knows, oh, you double team, I'm getting off of it. And then when you start throwing that lob, they start helping, now I'm making that play. So now this goes, you try to take that away, now I get whatever I want. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, but I agree with you 100%. And I think they have enough in the lineup because you still got Kyrie Irving, right? And with those, we've seen, well, I think, and it's just my opinion, we've seen this formula that Luka has before. I said it was James Harden winning Houston. Like, it was ultra talented, very entertaining, MVP. Harden got an MVP level, but the winning, it just didn't translate into wins. Now, Houston, Chris Paul got hurt, and then they lost to the Golden State in the 7 games, but in the 7th game. But I feel like Kyrie could be that Chris Paul, Harden, Kyrie, Luka. And I feel like Luka is so talented with his size, you could put him at different spots on the floor and play through him that way instead of
Luka on the second side with a live dribble.
Oh my gosh! You know what I mean?
After your defense is already on one side, trying to worry about Kyrie either 1-on-1 or coming off pick and roll with the midi or whatever. It's the mid range not there. I throw ahead to Luka with a live dribble as your defense is shifting. All right, cool.
I just think the challenge is when you have a player as talented as Luka and as a coach, it's hard to get them, as you mentioned, to buy into a different style that may be most beneficial for the team to win because they're so good at one thing. So that's going to be the challenge. But I think, once again, that formula with a great player, and that's why I always take my hat off to LeBron James. Like, LeBron James could do all of those things, but he empowered teammates, right? He trusted them, whether it's at the end of the game, throughout the game, he would take over. People would say,
We just saw that
that pass to Miami.
To Cam. Yeah.
The Cam Reddish.
It is the right play.
It's the only, like, Well, I won't say it's the only play, but that's the best play.
Because he could, I get what some people are saying. Like, yes, LeBron at that point he had the mid range. He took it. He got a little. He got deeper into the paint where come on. I feel like still he could take the contact and finish. But it is the right play. It's the right play. And I got killed. Let me tell you a quick story. I'm not going to even let you talk. I want you to listen to this. I got killed.
You've been cutting me off all night, but it's cool.
Cool. I'm going to keep it going. So, I got killed for trying to make the right play some years back when we played together. I threw you the rock. You missed the jumper. They killed me for it. It was all good. But I felt like I made the right play. But we got to the Knicks. We got to the Knicks. On the double team through it, you hit the mid-range, we win. But it was just something that established in the trust factor. And that's why I truly believe in it, because I've been in the situation where, that Knicks series was like insane, bro.
Yeah.
The first time when Jeff Van Gundy, bro, double team.
The first time, the second time. The first time y'all got swept.
We did.
I ain't play.
We did. That's what I'm talking about. The first time, he was sending double triple teams from everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was kind of correct. And it was kind of a little bit of the second time, like, yo, we just got to get it out. Well, I'll say that's cool. Y'all know this dude can shoot, right? You know he's a gamer, not afraid of the moment. And that's one thing that you were, and you brought, and that's what, Luka can understand. Like, bro, you got Kyrie Irving.
Yeah. And that's what you saw LeBron James do when Kyrie hit the shot. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And when that's the one thing I will say. Of course, people have their own opinions. But to your point, throughout our career, a time playing with each other, you instill confidence in me by going to me in certain situations, not even realizing you're playing chess, because guess what? I'm going to need this dude. I'm going to need this dude. I'm going to need Oak. I'm going to need these guys to make shots, because it ain't sweet for me every night. To your point, you were the guy that, if we lose, Al going to have to shoot this potluck jump shot, and that's how we going to lose. We ain't going to let Vince kill us, because we're going to triple and double, and you gave us power and you gave us that. LeBron James does the same thing. So to your point, if Lucas continues to do that, those guys are just going to feel better and better as the season progresses. And in winning time, they're going to be ready to go.
I tell that story about T-Mac playing in Orlando. You remember when they lost 15 to 16, 17 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And the one conversation we had, I was like, man, trust these dudes a little bit. Like right now, they he ain't passing us the ball. Or he don't trust in us. Next thing you know, he gives it a shot. They win 4 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, so it's like it works. It's just being able to buy in, something we talked about earlier.
Kick your feet up, you can find us on all platforms. In that form, so be the hottest on them platforms. Your family now, got you listen to what we talking about. The VC show, let's go, it's time to turn it out. The VC show, let's go. The VC.
All right, Al. So we have segments. I have 4 segments that I like to do to have a little fun here. This first segment is called Pure Vinsanity. It's a Pure Vinsanity clip of the week. All right? So we're going to play the clip, react to it. All right, here we go. So basically, he walking on air. He walking on air, brother. So my question to you is, can you do that?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, now here's a what?
I was crip walking. I was crip walking back in the day.
That's okay. So Al, if you tried that right now, what would happen?
The little part of my knee gonna fall off that I just got put in. My knee replacement going malfunction. I can't do that, man. What is that?
Nah, you right.
No, he looked like he's roller skating, man.
That's impressive, man.
No, that's it. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I can't even lie. I can't even front on that.
All right, we're going into segment number 2. This is called our upper room, baby. So now we're gonna talk about our upper room. This is a play, a dunk of the week. Yes, I knew you, dude. All right, so our upper room is Jaylen Brown. And here's the thing. So he's going left. let's rewind back just a little bit. He's going okay right here. You see, he's going left, and he just turns his body, and it kind of right there. If you pause it, it kind of reminds me of the thought. Like when I see that, that's what I was thinking when I saw Zoe there. I had to turn my body. You gonna laugh? I had to turn my body so he couldn't block it. You see, he gets there. He's turning. He wants to put the left shoulder for protection. And that's what so that's why it made it tough for Gobert to block it. You know what I'm saying? What are your thoughts? Do you see it that same way?
Well, I mean, I'm really not qualified to even talk about nothing favorite play. Him dunking on Rudy, you dunking on Zoe. I cannot qualify. But I tell you, from a fan perspective, I don't know what it was, but he set that man on his back pocket. And yeah, that ain't. And I like that kid too, man. Jaylen Brown, just oh man,
he goes.
That's impressive. That's impressive. And if you're impressed, I
am impressed, and the reason I'm impressed is because I once had a moment where I kind of let's just play the clip.
Okay.
By the way, that is Rudy Gobert.
Hey. So,
right there.
Stop block. You right. And he let an old. You was old. You was about 43 years old right there.
Nah, I was probably 40.
Dang.
Maybe 39.
That's a good one, Vince.
Yeah. So when I saw it, it made me think like, wait a minute. I've been there.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You've been there a few times. A few times.
The upper room. Jaylen Brown, welcome to the upper room, baby.
No, yeah, congrats to that man. Congrats to that man.
So, all right, now we're moving into our next segment. We call it our shout out of the week. So, our shout out of the week is going to what? Liquid IV. Liquid IV. You know anything about Liquid IV? You ever heard of it?
No.
So, Liquid IV, man, let me tell you something. Like, for those who don't like to drink water, it's hydration multiplier. It just helps. It kind of, you use this liquid for electrolytes.
Yep. Okay.
Just put it in a bottle of water and drink it. It kind of serves as you drinking, I think it's like 7 bottles of water or something to that nature. And it's different flavors.
Okay.
Obviously I have strawberry right now, golden cherry, tropical punch. I think it's like, don't quote me on it, it's like 5 to 7 different flavors that you can put it in. I mean, it's good, and it's not like one of them bitter taste.
Right.
It doesn't have a bitter taste. It's pretty darn good. So, shout out to Liquid IV. If you guys have never tried it, I recommend you try it one time. For those who don't like to drink water, or just need extra hydration before a game or whatever. Being out in the South, it get hot in the South. That humidity, boy. You need a little some electrolytes in there. So Liquid IV is the shout out of the week.
So
check them out.
Your guests get a package mailed to them?
No, they don't get it's not a package. It's just more so just giving them, just making people aware of just what's out there. Everybody doesn't know, everything.
Where can I get it?
Amazon. Amazon, or you can go to Liquid. I think it's liquid.iv.
Okay.
.com, but you can you can always go to Amazon and find it. But that's why I bought them. Liquid IV. A couple of golf courses that I play. Particularly a golf course that I play at, they give you on the cart. They have 3 of these already on the cart because it gets hot in the South. So shout out to Liquid IV. Y'all go check it out. Let me know what y'all think about it. Al, you gotta try it.
No, I'm gonna need you to figure out the website. You can't tell me liquid. I think .com, like
Liquid IV, liquid.iv.com, or the easiest way to do it is you can always go to Amazon, type Liquid IV, and it's gonna pop right on up for you. I mean, right on up.
Dang, I'm on it.
I see what you did there.
I'm on it.
All right. And now our last segment. This is the last segment we use to close out the show out. It's called Who I Ran Into This Week.
Okay.
Well, this is who I ran into this week.
Halle Berry.
Nah.
Dang.
Nah. That's funny. We used to talk about, that's what we used to talk about all the time. Man, we got to run into Halle Berry. That's crazy. So this weekend, I was in Jacksonville, Florida, and I got the opportunity to be amongst some pretty great people. So shout out to Mr. Jeff Johnson, who's at Chipola College, Tom Coughlin, Elaine Larson, who's a Hall of Fame race car driver, Greg Coleman, who was the first black punter in the NFL, graduated from FAMU, HBCU. Shannon Miller, all of you guys know, the gymnast. I think it was what was I wish I could remember the name. But she was a part of the 92 and 96 Olympics gold medal team. The Magnificent Seven. I think that's what it is. Where Dominique Dawes was on that. So everybody, who loved Dominique Dawes, Shannon Miller was the catalyst and the leader. And Leroy Butler, who played at Florida State and also for the Green Bay Packers. He is the creator of the Lambeau Leap.
Number 36.
Number 36. Yes, the creator of the Lambeau Leap. He also was there. And the reason we were all together, Al, because I was also with that group. So I received this award. I was enshrined into the Florida Sports Hall of Fame.
Oh, man.
With those guys. Class of 2023, man. So,
congrats.
Yeah, man, it was a pretty cool night. I got a chance to represent the state of Florida. And Tom Coughlin obviously is not from Florida, but what he did for the Jacksonville Jaguars, he was the first coach, took them to 2 AFC championships, so on and so forth. He very successful. I think he's the winningest franchise coach in history, for taking a franchise in their first season and the amount of games that went. So great things. And so it was just pretty cool to be amongst people who accomplished so much. Obviously, Tom Coughlin won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants, beating Tom Brady. So Leroy Butler, another Super Bowl champ, Hall of Famer. This was inducted to the Hall of Fame last year. So I got a chance to be amongst those. Obviously, Shannon Miller is larger than life in when you're talking about gymnastics and the Olympics. So I got the chance to be there, man, and be a part of that, and then being enshrined into the Hall of Fame. So that's who I ran into this week, man. I was rubbing elbows with some pretty dope people. So man, what you think?
First of all, proud of you. Congratulations, and amongst the greats, man. As you deserve to be there, man. Because always give you your flowers whenever I see you and things like that. So I'm glad you are still experiencing, being around greatness and you being a part of that and getting your accolades as you deserve, man. I hope you get those people nicer than you treat me, because the way you treat me, it ain't cool. And when I see you, we're gonna move some furniture
on site, man.
On site.
That's cool. It's cool.
I ain't no punk for real, mama.
Until then, jive turkey. But man, I always appreciate you, Al. Obviously we've been friends and teammates and been in competition since 95, 96, somewhere down there. Yeah. And to this day, we still, like I said, this is how we interact all the time. Even when Al was getting started in his broadcasting career, nothing changed. It's just support. He's always supported me. He's always been in my corner through the ups and downs. He's been there. He's seen it all. He's a great friend, and that's why I wanted to bring you on today. We joked about you being my last option, but you're one of my best options, man, because I think you're going to bring value to this stuff because of our interaction. And obviously I trust and I know you're going to give great analysis, obviously not just the Raptors, but the game, because you've been in it for a long time. So I appreciate having you on the show as usual, man.
No doubt.
Always, true friend. And, this is what we do, man. It lasts forever.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So with that, good people, the VC show, we out of here.
Let's go. It's time to turn it out. The VC show, let's go. Let's go. The VC show, let's go. Let's go. The VC show, let's go. Let's go.